Yeah, hit the likes and subs. Oh, yeah, they're in full coat mode right now. That's right. Likes and subs.
Well. Good to be here. Great to see you, everybody. Welcome to the show. Wowie. Ooh, feels good. Feeling good today. Chat looking good today. Hello to everyone out there. Good to see. Oh, I see you over there. Look at that, Rich 333333 Capricorny Twits the Beat Pro London man. So good to see you, London. Let's do a show. Can you do show? I'm gonna go live one of these mornings, and I say I just drop the link, dude, and me and you take over the show. I say we have a nice conversation, dude. Let me know if any time this week or next week. I don't know what time it is for you, man. I have no clue what time it is for you, but if that'll ever work, me and you can have a great conversation in the morning. I'd really enjoy that. So shout out London, man. We got hello. Soft chakras. was Richard Murdoch 600. Dang, dang, dang. Let me know when it works for you, London. That's crazy. We'll do it. London Man's a content creator, dude. He's a thinker. That's what I'll tell you, man. The guy thinks. We need more people like that. Ah, man. Next week sounds fine. Perfect, dude. Let me know what day, and then I'll go live, and then I'll drop the link, and we'll have a nice 1 hour conversation about whatever you want, dude. Whatever. It could be about anything. It could be about London. We could talk about the city of London. We could talk about the shape of the earth, dude. We could talk about anything that comes to your mind. Speaking of that, I don't know really what I've been thinking about lately. I've been having regular thoughts. I've been complaining. I hate to say that. I don't know if it's complaining. Just I've been rather upset about. People say global warming's not real. The South is currently experiencing some type of a weather pattern that's freezing. It's terrible weather there, and here in Utah, it snowed. It snowed one time. We're in a drought, a snow drought. And I hate it, dude. I hate no snow. I kind of like it though, because we had a bunch of people move here to Utah, and a lot of people don't even know how to drive in the snow. So I don't have to worry about idiots on the road. It's just every day sunny with pollution. We have so much smog, so much poor air quality. Utah has some of the worst air quality in the world. So I don't know if I've been complaining. I've just been looking outside every day, and it's just kind of, it's kind of depressing, man. I don't know where, I guess you guys my chat probably lives all across the world. So you guys probably experience different weather patterns. But I'm not used to the weather in Utah. I'm craving normalcy. Craving something cool. I want to make a snowman, dude. I really want to make a snowman. But I guess, other people deserve the snow this time of this year, this go round. Besides that, dude, well, you're in trouble when you're talking about the weather, man. That's when life just becomes uninteresting. It gets real ugly out there. I woke up, started streaming, and the first thing I talk about is the weather. Get real, dude. Get real. I've been thinking about, just in my personal life, I've been thinking about public school, how awful it is. Just venting about that. Just, I guess, complaining again. I should be grateful. I should be grateful. My kid, I'm thinking more and more about homeschooling this next year for my children. One of the there's lots of reasons why. But I got my child got an activity worksheet they did in school, and I was looking at it, and it was like a math worksheet, and on the math worksheet there was maybe like 10 kids on the math worksheet, and it was the most diverse group of 10 children I have ever seen. There was 2 white kids in the picture. One of them was a white boy with red hair and a pink shirt. I was like, oh, that's strange. Another one was a girl. I think she had red hair too. There was no white people with brown hair. I was like, what the hell is this? There was an Asian. There was about 2 blacks, about 4 Hispanics, a girl with a missing arm. I was like, that's interesting. Maybe that's something they discuss in class. Some people are only born with nubs for arms. And it's a great talking point. But it's like you can't escape it, dude. This progressive agenda is inescapable. Even if the teacher doesn't talk about it, they're giving out these New World Order worksheets where everyone's diverse, and the worksheet doesn't even make sense. It's not representative of the area. So, like, in order to be more inclusive, they exclude the actual population they're serving, which is mind-boggling. I'm like, this is the final straw for me. Chick with one arm, one Asian. Why is there only one Asian in this? Oh, man. It's really not a big deal. And maybe some people would prefer that their kids are given worksheets that include a very diverse population of people. Not me, dude. I think it's unnecessary. Maybe if my child lived in the inner city and she was a minority, or he was a minority in their class, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. Have a very diverse population, but I live in Utah. And currently, it's still mostly white people. So I don't know, man. A lot of things come with homeschooling and things of that nature. But recently, there was a person, and I don't know what it's called in Utah. They have this education board. Where it's I should find what it is. Utah Education resign, and this lady resigned from the Utah Board of Education. Let me see if I can find it. It's Utah. I'll just read this highlight. Utah school board member quits, warns parents to withdraw children from public education. And if someone is warning me, they're on the school board. They're warning me to withdraw my child from public education. I'm going to take that seriously. Let me read what this lady wrote. It was a scathing review. A scathing review. Where is it? Sorry, this is slowing down, isn't it? Sheesh. But it's, I want to read it because here it is. This lady wrote, "Hello, my fellow citizens of District 8 in the greatest state of Utah, or the great state of Utah. Today I declare without apology or hesitation that I will not seek re-election to the Utah State Board of Education. I am done lending my name, my vote, and my silence to a broken, corrupt, and morally bankrupt system that no longer serves the children or families of this state. The corruption inside the Utah State Board of Education and the broader educational establishment is not subtle. It is brazen, pervasive, and rotting the soul of public education." I don't know if public education had a soul anyways, by the way. I don't even know if it ever did. Nearly every decision is now driven by not-so-hidden agendas, political cowardice, financial kickbacks, and raw personal ambition, not by what is best for students. The USBE, Utah State Board of Education, has become a closed club that wages open war on the minds, values, and innocence of our children while systematically stripping parents of any meaningful voice. This is more than mere incompetence. It is betrayal on a grand scale by the very people you elected. Layer upon layer of dysfunction, mirrored and magnified in the Utah legislature, has turned governance into a circus of gridlock, self-preservation, and faux theatrical outrage that accomplishes nothing. Good ideas are buried, brave voices are punished, and the status quo is protected at all costs. The chaos is not accidental, it is the design of those who profit from it. And then they continue, "I ran for this office to fight for you, your children, your values, your right to be heard. Instead, I have been forced to watch as even the loudest conservative voices fold, trade their votes for favor and money, or abandon every promise they made on the campaign trail. The Republican Party platform means nothing inside those walls. The word of the Lord means even less. I was like, dang, this lady's legit. Of course, she means Mormons. Your concerns about it's like, don't say that word. Your concerns about pornography in libraries, radical gender ideology in classrooms, the erosion of academic excellence, and the assault on the parental rights are mocked, ignored, or drowned out by the shrill demands of special interests and the timid silence of those who fear losing their seat more than losing their soul. And they continue. I'll just read the final message. My final message to every parent in Utah is blunt and urgent. Get your children out of Utah's government schools as quickly as possible. Real change is not coming. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as the corrupt intended it to work. Your children's minds, hearts, and futures are not safe inside it. Like, oh, this lady's warning me. She's warning me. And I believe her, dude. I absolutely believe this lady. And I imagine, in a conservative state like Utah, this stuff is seeping in. It's embedding itself. And, it can't be helped, dude. It can't be helped. Every teacher's a dang old liberal. They go to these colleges and they get absolutely brainwashed, with their beliefs, their critical race theory, their need for equity, inclusion. And in Utah, at least this lady's brave enough to tell us, get out. Get out of public education. I look back on my public education and I enjoyed it. I really did on some level. I felt like, there was a lot of good things. I feel like my teachers had gray hair. I feel like they were like older women. And they were just doing their best. They were teaching me how to write cursive, how to put sentences together. And I'd go to computer class maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times a week. I don't know. And I'd play number crunchers or Oregon Trail. And school was fun. School was enjoyable. And then it got worse and worse. I remember when they started doing testing all the time, and I hated that. And things must really suck now, where the only point of going to public school is to, program children to feel like they need to go to college. That's how the whole system is designed. Test, test, test. What are we testing for? So you can get into college. You can get in debt, and you could be an indebted wage slave. You need a liberal arts degree. That's what you need. You need a liberal arts degree. And so, this whole educational system's rotted. And, I asked my child who's in school, and it starts early. Like, I was surprised, and I had to correct my child. I said, when do you think you learn? And my child said, what, at school? I was all wrong. Not right. You learn all the time. You're learning right now. You learn every moment of your life, not just when you're in school. And that's like, I couldn't believe how quickly my child was programmed to believe that learning only occurs when you're sitting in a desk and receiving instruction from a teacher. I was like, this is bad. Oh no, you actually are learning all the time. You're learning right now. You learn when you're hanging out with friends. You learn when you're with grandpa and grandma. You're always learning. Every moment of your life, you're learning and you're taking in information. You're understanding the world, not just when you're at school. And I said, I said, and when you're learning all the time, guess who the teacher is? Guess who the teacher is when you're learning all the time? You are. You're teaching yourself. You're teaching yourself things. And I said, who do you think taught you how to crawl? My kid was like, me? I was like, that's right. You taught yourself. I said, who do you think taught you how to walk? Me? I was like, that's right. You're a teacher. You're a teacher to yourself, and you're always learning. And you don't need a teacher all the time to learn something. You just need yourself, and you need to be interested in something. And my child's fairly intelligent. I got good genes in my family. The intelligent genes absolutely skipped me. which I've always wondered what to think about that. Looking at some of my family members, people call it gifted. I have some fairly intelligent family members, and I've always just been regular. You know what I mean? I've always just been trying to get with the program. I've never really exemplified any. Maybe I have like high emotional intelligence. I got no fucking clue. That's cope. But I'm not some super genius. But I don't know if my child is, but academically speaking, I know they're pretty advanced for the grade. I got back their, report card, and it's where they're at academically is it's pretty impressive. Part of that, is just me in general. I taught my child the basics of how to read before they even got to school. Because I was like, I thought I can't trust the school system, so I got to make sure when they get there, they already know what the hell to do. They have to be ready. And so, I asked my kid, I said, when you're at school, do you feel like you do things that you already know how to do? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, of course. School's like a ceiling. And it doesn't matter if you perform well. It doesn't matter if my child is excelling and is doing things they already know how to do. They have to do whatever the rest of the class is doing. And I think that's a real problem with our educational system. It's absolutely a ceiling. And instead of encouraging my child to advance and to be, they're not giving my child harder work to do. They're just giving them the same worksheet everyone else is doing. And the real problem is the only way a school system will help your child is if they're academically behind, and they'll create an individualized education program for them. And they don't do that for the bright kids. For the bright kids, they just have to sit there and do the same worksheet everyone else is doing. And it's kind of a crime, right? And it's got to be designed that way. It's designed to, minimize the excellence of the top performers till everyone averages out, right? And that really bothers me. So I've been thinking more and more about homeschooling and or finding a charter school. But charter schools are, they do them by lottery here in Utah, which is interesting to me. It's like gambling, but you can win. So you have to be fortunately chosen by a lottery machine for your child to go to a charter school. This past year I wasn't chosen by the lottery, dude. Talk about unlucky. I was like, oh shit, oh no, didn't win the lottery. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But the school system sucks all across the United States. And there's really, I don't think if there's, people talk about the military industrial complex, big pharma, but big education is, I think, certainly one of the larger problems our country faces. And unfortunately, there's not much anybody can do about it or will do about it or want. They don't want to do anything about it. It's daycare for children. Ultimately, at the end of the day, parents, unfortunately, a lot of them just have jobs, wage slave jobs. Most families, I feel like in America, can't afford or aren't in the position to have a stay-at-home parent. So even like you think about homeschooling, well, it's not financially possible, unfortunately, for a lot of Americans, excuse me. And most people, they're just happy. Sometimes they're just happy their kids being watched for quote unquote free, even though most of our tax-paying dollars, a lot of it goes to the educational system. It's a sick problem that most people can't do anything to fix and aren't aware of it, and it's the largest propaganda machine in the country. It's worse than Netflix. It's worse than, I don't know if it can be worse than Netflix. Netflix is just one behemoth of gay propaganda. Oh my gosh, it's awful. I hate Netflix. I absolutely deplore it, if that's the correct word. Um, but you know, it's disgusting how bad our country is when it comes to education and the apathetic nature most people have towards it. You know, it's most people are probably just grateful their child is being taken care of and given industrial slop for lunch. Um, and you know, and there's a lot of drawbacks to education too, man. Just like people are like, well, how's your kid gonna socialize? You mean learn shitty behaviors from other children? What do you mean socialize? How many of these kids at school really have great personalities, loving maybe a lot of them do, maybe some of them don't, but you know, I think schools where most of the time kids learn from, in general, other children how to behave and how to act, and if they're not around a good cohort, they're just going to adopt a lot of their personalities and a lot of their interests. And I already knew that when K-pop Demon Hunters came around, and I didn't have Netflix. Anytime there was something on Netflix, I just borrowed my parents' password and account. I wasn't going to pay for that shit. And all of a sudden, dude, K-pop Demon Hunters takes over the world, dude. And I remember going to my child's Halloween parade at school, and all these girls were dressed up as like a superhero. I looked like a superhero to me. I'm like, who are all these purple-haired superheroes at this school? What is going on? What's happening? And then all of a sudden, you know, this phenomenon takes over the school, and somehow the teacher reads a K-pop Demon Hunters book at school, and my kid comes home and is like, we gotta watch that movie. I'm like, what movie is this? I don't even know. And I knew I've heard some adults talk about it, you know, like, hey, this movie's not that bad. It's actually okay. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And, you know, all of a sudden, my child, in order to be in the in group, wants to be aware of this, and download the information so they could be a part of it. And I get that, dude. I remember when I was in kindergarten and first grade and second grade, and Pokemon hit like a wave, dude. And everyone was all about the Pokemons, dude. And by the time I was in fifth grade, it had died. And it's crazy looking back, dude. I don't know how Pokemon made such a comeback, because I remember maybe when I was in third grade, you know, sixth graders were like, Pokemon's for children. They had grown out of it. The sixth graders were already done with the Pokemon, and they wanted to be cool. And now, dude, I was at the grocery store this past week, and they got these giant Pokemon vending machines. And when I take my kids to the grocery store, some of them have claw machines. And so I grew up, my parents would let me do the claw machine. So I was letting my kids do the claw machine, and I'm standing there and I see a grown ass man. He looked my age. He comes in and he comes to the Pokemon machine, and he just starts tapping the shit out of it. Swipe, 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 swipe. I'm like, what the hell's going on here, dude? But Pokemon, it's so powerful. It's its own economy of people collecting Pokemon cards. I never got back into it. Once I hit fifth grade, I was also convinced Pokemon's for babies. It's for children. And I was grown up in fifth grade. I was too old for that. But it's taken over the world. But you know, all of a sudden my child had to watch K-pop Demon Hunters, and I watched it with him. And I was just, you know, the propaganda in the movie, you know, you could look at it as, you know, you could take a positive outlook on it. You could even say the movie's decently made. It's better than some of these recent Disney movies. It's got a homogenous culture. Everyone in the movie's Korean. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. They didn't really go for the diversity thing here, which is interesting. But like some of it is, you listen to the music. I'm like, I don't know about this propaganda. This music is very, I don't know. I go, let me read the lyrics. I'm reading some of the lyrics of the K-pop songs, and quite frankly, it's a bit concerning. Okay, one of the songs has a Latin chant in the beginning, and it sounds demonic, right? It absolutely sounds demonic. What's the song? K-pop lyrics for, what is it called? I don't even know these songs. What is it? What's K-pop lyrics song? I'm like, what is the boy song? What is it? Oh, Your Idol. There you go. K-pop song. So it starts with it's actually kind of a creepy demonic song, and I was like, this sounds possessive. So it starts with Latin. It says, "Pray for me now, pray for me now, pray for me now, pray for me now." Is that really what it says? Oh, that can't be right. But it's like keeping you in. It's like this is the song I feel like is taking. Here's some lyrics: keeping you in check, keeping you obsessed. Play me on repeat in your head anytime it hurts. Play another verse. I could be your sanctuary. I was like, oh no. I'm the only one who will love your sins. I was like, oh. Feel the way my voice gets underneath your skin. Oh. Oh no. This is demonic. And it's quite catchy. That's how all the demonic songs go. They're quite catchy. It's like, I don't like this, dude. Before this, dude, my child had just finished reading Lord of the Rings. They loved Lord of the Rings. They wanted their birthday party to be Lord of the Rings themed. And I was like, dude, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right. They wanted to be an elf for Halloween or whatever. They liked listening to Lord of the Rings songs. It's like, dude, I'm winning. K-pop Demon Hunters comes along and forget Lord of the Rings. Forget The Hobbit. I like K-pop Demon Hunters. I want a K-pop Demon Hunters birthday. I was like, no. No. Whatever though. Okay. Fine. I don't want to force my kids just to like what I like. But, what's chat saying? I saw some people typing away. Goons to K-pop teens confirmed. Gambling with your child's education. Yeah, I used to teach this young kid guitar lessons that was homeschooled, and the weird thing is the kid became trans after the COVID lockdown. I think it was a combination of having weak parents and Algor. Maybe you mean algorithm? Keep your kids away from anime. Oh, yeah. Kid becomes trans. Ooh, boy. Yeah, a lot of, there's good and bad stories about homeschooling. It's fortunately for me, I'm not just a regular person. I got a degree, a master's degree in education. So if anyone's equipped to homeschool their child, it would be me. I was educated by the system on how to teach. So I feel fairly confident in homeschooling. And I've read a lot of books about homeschooling and schooling in general, how to do it, what to do. And I feel like some parents who homeschool, they just look at it however they look at it, and they do it however they feel like they want to do it. Which is, people, and also it's actually not that hard to educate children, right? You should be teaching them all the things you know how to do. Read, simple math, and then eventually, when things get harder, you can outsource some of the things maybe you're not good at. Maybe your child's learning algebra and you suck at teaching algebra. Well, you hire a tutor, okay? and the tutor, you incorporate that into your homeschooling. Or you find a homeschooling pod with other parents. And even I'm, a lot of people are proponents of homeschooling pods. I'm not really into that. It's you got to have a tight network of people that you trust and really well. Otherwise, it's just you dropping your kid off with strangers all day, or not all day, for hours of the day. And I don't know about that. But I think anime is a pipeline to trans. I think anime in general is a pipeway to dysfunctional thinking. I'm a fan of classic anime. And only when I say classic, I mean the guy who made Totoro. That's basically the only anime I would ever watch or be like, that's a good movie. Is like Totoro, Princess Mononoke, whatever the hell other movies that guy made. I think those are quality in the aesthetics. They're all hand-drawn. It's not the cheesy, weird facial expressions most people associate with anime. But everything out. Like you see some of these anime shows. What's one of them? Like One Punch. Like that shit's trash. Some people might say Dragon Ball Z though. Dragon Ball Z is quality, high tea, masculine anime. I'm like, I still don't know about that. K-pop. My daughter loves that ish. Yeah. Well, you understand it then. Go, Pokemon Provo. Goons to K-pop teens. Confirmed. Oh, my gosh. Hey, good to see you, Dadinsky, buddy boo. It's about the Soul Collection. It is. Went to a K-pop theme party with my children last month. Wow, dude. Well, that it's contagious, the K-pop thing. Hopefully it's died down now. I don't know. They'll probably make another movie and another movie. What's up, Melaforta? Good to see you. Moldy Apple. Pod maxing. Public school is just sending your kid to be taught by kids. Essentially. Studio Ghibli. Yeah, Studio Ghibli's. Howl's Moving Castle. Weeb Slop. Yeah. Hayao Miyazaki. Yeah, I like that guy. And a lot of the themes in his movie are I enjoy those. And it's not just like anime that's been corrupted and devolved. It's like every kid's show now. Every new version is this. It's this color vomit on the screen, high transition on the screen. It's a lot of the shows now are trash. I unfortunately I don't know if I'd call it a trash movie. I watched what's it called, Tron Ares. And it was, of course, woman in power role. Woman in power role, of course, in that movie. Another woman, black woman in power role. Surprisingly bad guy. I was caught off guard by that in the Tron Ares movie. There's a black woman who's the protagonist, or antagonist, in the movie. I was like, you don't see that too often. But the real antagonist in the movie was a white guy. I'm like, there you go. Who's the bad guy in the movie? Obviously, he's white. Of course. I was like, oh. What are you gonna do about it? That's how everything is. It's just like you can't escape it. You can't escape all of these. This system of what's it called? Like globalization. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of words for it, but it's inescapable. It's in propaganda. It's in the school system. It's pervasive, and it's all encompassing, and it's happening so fast across the world, and we're entrenching ourselves absolutely in the new world order. And I know a lot of people say the Jews are to blame. But I blame kind of everybody. I think everyone's hand in hand in this. I think this is what the global elites want, right? This is what the entire some of the world doesn't want it, like China, they don't really want, and Korea, they don't really buy into this globalization bullshit on some level. I think they buy in on some parts, but Chinese are making movies with only Chinese people. China, they're not doing mass migration. South Korea is not doing mass migration. I think Japanese or the Japan has kind of folded and bent the knee a little bit. But, you know, Japanese movies, I imagine, are still mostly Japanese. I don't watch Japanese, Korean, and Chinese movies. But on the other hand, they're fully implementing Orwellian systems across the world. I'm sure the propaganda in their educational system is probably similar to ours. And I was going to talk about this as well, like how fast is this coming? And what was the point of all of these systems that are being implemented? Where the hell is that thing? Did I not save it? Did I not save it? Here it is. So let me just read this. I guess I could play it. It's a short clip. I don't know if the clip encapsulates what I'm trying to talk about. But this is a result of everything that's going on. This is what's happening in the UK. Hopefully this clip covers it.
Fighting crime in a digital age with analog methods. We will ensure that every force is adopting the latest technology led out of the new National Police Service. And this will include the largest ever rollout of live facial recognition technologies across England and Wales.
Facial recognition technology across England and Wales.
We know this approach works.
We know it works. Okay.
In London, in just 2 years, the Metropolitan Police have made 1,700 arrests, taking robbers, domestic abusers, and rapists off our streets. When the future arrives, there are always doubters. 100 years ago, fingerprinting was decried as curtailing our civil liberties, but today we could not imagine policing without it. I have no doubt the same will prove true of facial recognition technology in the years to come. At the same time, we will launch Police.ai, investing a record £115 million in AI and automation to make policing more effective and efficient, stripping admin away to ensure officer time can be devoted to the human factor that only a police officer can provide.
So AI, police, facial recognition software, right? Bring all these people into your country, create the problem. They already had the solution. Of course, you know, the solution is artificial intelligence policing, facial recognition software, and now we need it. We need it. You want to know why we need facial recognition software in England? Because of the damn fly tippers, these litter bugs who take their trash and dump it on the side of the hill. How are we going to stop these people from littering? Well, there's only one real solution. We need facial recognition software. And that's to me bonkers, you know. And I think we are already in the United States. I'm almost certain we're already using this technology, and our police forces are already using this technology, just not in the open. They're not brazen about it, but they're definitely using it. No doubt about that. And what does that even mean? You know, it's like, what do people say? Well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't care. It's like, all right, wait till you are doing something wrong. And the thing that you're doing wrong is making a Facebook post, or you make a Twitter post, and you're like, what do you say? You say the Jews, right? Which is your right to say the Jews. And then all of a sudden you get a knock on your door, or you're out walking out and about, and a cop pulls up and steps out of the car. They were able to scan your face and confirm your identity and match it to your social media presence, and boom, you're arrested for anti-Semitism, for inciting hateful speech. I don't think that thing's too far off in the United States. We do have a pretty strong idea of freedom of speech. But I see the freedom of speech like maybe the Second Amendment, where all these rights are kind of being weathered away to illusions. Like in Australia, you can own a gun in Australia, but it's super difficult. It's almost impossible. And the type of gun you can have is like a hunting rifle, and you need special permits. And then freedom of speech is going to be certainly limited in the United States by capacities. Like if you say things, they have to be under certain contexts. For example, I can imagine in the future, like if you're discussing Hitler, then the only way you could discuss Hitler is if you're in an academic setting and it's under these guidelines and paradigms. It's already happened. You see this on YouTube where people say Austrian painter. Like, what the fuck? Or they say mustache man. Like, it's so retarded. People are already acquiescing to the idea that, like, you can't talk about this guy. And if you talk about him, you have to double speak. People are already willingly giving up their freedom of speech out of fear that they might lose something that they've built, right? Like a business. And YouTubes are businesses for some people, and they're not even, they understand that their freedom of speech is restricted because they're on a private platform, which is essentially, coercion. I hate that. I hate that about YouTube, where people are just afraid to say certain words and to talk about certain things, and they'll, and then they cop out when they'll say, "Well, I understand it's a private platform." Like, this is so retarded. You should be able to say things. You should be able to talk about things. What's the point? I mean, like, what are you really doing if you can't really say what you think? Well, you can say what you think. You just have to double speak the whole time. Like, that's stupid. So, you look around, like, freedom of speech is already certainly being curtailed in the Americas. People are already bending the knee. And soon it'll just be, slow, gradual acceptance that, like, oh, well, we just don't talk about that stuff anymore. Well, you got to stay online. Don't you want to have an X account? Don't you want to have an Instagram? Don't you want to have these things? Well, if you want to reach the people, you can't talk about that stuff. All right, bud, don't talk about that stuff. You remember the pandemic? You just weren't allowed to talk about the Wuhan lab. You just weren't allowed to do it. So that's how I look at things. Where am I at? I got about 13 minutes left. What's going on over here? Some Jews are funny. They are. What's up, Seven Spalding? What are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Good to see you, Seven. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Are we not men? Shout out to you. Critical thinking rules, doing something wrong. You get it, Daninsky. Ron DeSantis went to Israel 2 times and signed a law that would fight against anti-Semitism in Florida. There you go. We have had freedom of speech for a very long time in the UK. ... Yeah, good joke there, dude. Good joke. Cowards bend the knee. He-Man She-Ra, good to see you. We got a great crowd today. So, that's America for you. America's changing fast. And it's just going to keep changing. And, I look around the current news cycle. Of course, things haven't changed. Every day it's ice, more ice. Nothing cool. And even the sports, like all this, it's weird when you look at the sports, like in Utah, we have a hockey team, and they're LGBTQ'd out of their damn mind. They promote that shit. You look at like Minnesota Timberwolves. They're promoting whatever political agenda the state is. And even coming up to the biggest sporting event for a lot of Americans, the Super Bowl, we, at a time when Americans are protesting ICE and we have this expulsion of illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, most of them probably Spanish speaking, but there's a bunch that aren't, I assume. Maybe quite a handful that speak Arabic, speak Chinese, maybe a few Armenians. I got no clue. Maybe a few Indians. But most of them probably obviously speak Spanish, We have the biggest American sporting event in the country coming up, the Super Bowl. And who do they pick for the halftime event? They pick a Spanish-speaking musical artist who wears dresses, right? This propaganda is pervasive. It's sickening. It's seeping into everything, right? One of the most masculine, I would say, maybe I'd call it heterosexual sports in America is having a cross-dressing Spanish-speaking artist perform at halftime. I mean, it's over for America in a lot of ways. That's who they think represents the swath of Americans. Of course, they know it doesn't represent the swath of Americans. They're sending a message, right? It's over. And then who do they pick? I guess they pick Green Day, this band that says, fuck Donald Trump. Now, I don't want to be an American idiot. And that's who's going to perform at the beginning of the show. Like, essentially an anti-American band, Spanish-speaking, cross-dressing artists at halftime. And, they're going to do, of course, the Black National Anthem. And then they'll find time for, I guess, the American National Anthem. But, from sports to media to public schools, people just really need to get with the program. And that's really what's being run on the American system, the American society. The civilization of America it's a program. And it makes sense they're running a program because most of these people, I think at the top, think on this level now. Most people probably do think on this level. They even talk in terms like, well, you can't say kill, you got to say delete. They reset. I need a reset. Where'd the term reset come from? Computers. It's the language, the world. We're all being programmed. And most people need to get with the program. If you don't get with the program, you become like a noticer. You start noticing things. You start saying things. And then that's where the zombie propaganda comes in. If you notice things and you start to speak up, it's just like the zombie movie, dude. Everyone turns their head towards you, and what do? They start running at you. Eat their brains, change their mind. And it's just like a mob mentality for anyone who speaks up or notices something like, hey, actually, I don't know about this. I think I'm noticing something wrong. And then all these fucking freaks, just like in Walking Dead, they turn around. They run at you, and they eat your brains, and they change your mind, and they, one of us, think like us, one of us. It's sick, dude. It's sick. We live in a zombie movie. Most people don't even notice it. That's why you got to be quiet. That's why in zombie movies, you always got to be quiet, because that's what's happening. You got to be very quiet. You talk too loud, you make too much noise, boom, you're dead. It's over for you. You're canceled. You're removed. Or you can join them. Join us. Nothing we can really do about it. So I notice things. I say things. The noticer. I'm a noticer. And if I notice too many things, it's a problem. And people understand that. That's why they've realized, well, can't really notice things about history. You ask too many questions about the Holocaust, you're doing something wrong. You ask too many questions about transgender ideology, you're a bigot. You ask too many questions about why there's so many Spanish speakers in a country, you're a xenophobe. You can't notice too much in this country. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your social credit. And in Utah, we do have a social credit score. It's called the Dignity Index, I'm pretty sure. I've talked about it before, but that's how they rate your social credit in Utah. And they've implemented it through the school system. They've implemented it in businesses. And depending on your Dignity Index score, it lets you know how good of a person you are. Because you need to be told. You can't figure it out yourself. You can't let your life experience guide you and tell you what kind of person you are. You need a system to score you. That's the only way to really know if you're a good person or a bad person. And that score is determined upon the thoughts you have, the things you say, and how you treat people. And all those things are determined by the value of those, are determined by the system at large. So if you're not treating certain groups and populations correctly, your score goes down. Oh, you don't really show empathy and understanding and compassion towards transgender children, your index score is going to drop and you're considered a bigot and you're not going to get this job. We just ran your social media profile and your questionnaire through our system, and it says your index score is a 3. We hire people in this company on a baseline of 5 or 6. You need to have a baseline dignity score of 5 or 6. I'm sorry, we can't hire you. And that's the real. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've shared it before, but the Dignity Index Utah. And it's like not even a joke. That's how depressing this is. The Dignity Index. This is, what is it? Higher ground, ease divisions, prevent violence, solve problems. This is just a short clip. For those who have missed my presentation on the Dignity Index score, the social credit system currently in use in Utah.
All right, we want to form a society so everyone has the conditions that allows them to flourish. What is the bare minimum we need to agree on? We need to have some common values to have a society that works. What are those common values? And we think it's dignity. We think if you treat everyone with dignity, we can handle all the differences and disagreement. We've tried the Dignity Index in Utah during congressional elections. We've tried it, are trying it in school districts. We're trying it in town councils and county commissions.
So there you go, dude. They're trying it. They're trying this social credit system in Utah. They're really trying it, and they're implementing it. And Utah is like the testing ground for the New World Order in a lot of ways. It sucks, but I think you can go online. Maybe you can take a Dignity Index score test and find out where you stand. Maybe it'd be good to know. What's up, Verpal? Good to see you. It's like that 1980s movie, They Live. I've got one that can see. Yeah, I've got one that can see. Get him. Grateful for everybody. YouTube won't even let me say the F word sometimes. That's terrible. Let anyone in and then pretend to care about quality. There you go. There you go. I just hit my hour mark. We did it, folks. We monologued for an hour. I guess I had 2 reaction content clips. But it's been a great day, great mornings, great start of the day. I couldn't be more thankful to everyone who stopped by, shared some time with me. Innocent blood shed in the streets. A 37-year-old male ICU nurse was shot in public in the street. I don't even know. I don't even think I was talking about that. Well, I missed some chats apparently. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about ICE next time. Maybe not. But God bless you all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Have a great Tuesday, great rest of your day. Couldn't be more thankful for you. Means a lot you guys spend some time with me. So God bless. We'll see you next time.